So you want to do cartoons or fantasy characters. Drawing dragons, one of my favourites. Now, if you're not very good at drawing, Affinity Photo is fine for this, by the way. You can also do the same in Designer, but I'd rather start this off with Affinity Photo on the iPad. Now, I've got it on the main screen here because I want to show you how you can do this really easily. It doesn't matter if you're not an artist. You can still get your drawings into your iPad or your desktop. Now, on the iPad, we've got a thing called Scanner Pro. You can see it on the bottom taskbar there. There's Photos, there's Affinity Photo, and there's Scanner Pro. Now, I've already scanned these. You can see the dragons I've got there. Now, there's 28 scans there. Let's have a look at them. There we go. There's one of 28. Scanned in from a book. You can see those. That's quite easy. Now, we're not about scanning, but what you do is you scan the image first. You're not actually copywriting because you're not going to use that image. What you're going to do is open Affinity Photo. You can see I've got a couple of dragons there where I've been practicing already. Now, let's pull in our own dragon. I've got them from Photos, importing from Photos, because I already put them in the Photos, in Apple Photos. Now, where's one that we can do? Now, here's one. It's got a nice dragon on it, so we'll load that one into Photos. It looks a bit large there, doesn't it? But never mind. What we've got to do, and you've got the text and everything, we don't want to just trace that there because there's a lot of stuff in the way, although you can. If you have a look at that, and it's as it comes in, I've got it set so that the imported image is locked. Don't just start drawing on top of that. What I'm going to do to make this a nice clean exercise, you can see I've touched the crop tool. Now let's reduce that so I can see what I'm doing here. Now let's move the crop tool up above that text and just below his claws. We'll bring that in there. It's still on the text a little bit. And down from the top just a little bit, right where that wing is. Now, let's apply that. Down the bottom here you can see unconstrained mode and we've got apply. So tap apply. Now there's our dragon. Very nice. That's on top of the entire page. But what we want to do is go to pasteboard and copy that. Now we'll go to pasteboard again and paste. Now you can see over the right hand side, in the layers panel, we've got, there it is there, that's the copy. Let's turn off that one there. We may want to use it later if you really hash it up. Now you think, oh, how am I going to copy that? How can I trace over that? Again, don't trace over the image that's there. Well, you do trace over it, but don't use that layer. And there's a reason for this. Pixel layer, let's create a blank pixel layer. Now you can trace, because if you've got individual layers for the things you trace, this allows you to make mistakes and go back and correct them by removing that layer or altering that layer, not having to go back and load in and crop and resize the image in the first place. Now what we're going to do here is select a brush. You can see the colour on the image there. We'll just leave that there. We've got the layers. Make sure you keep it on there, on the blank layer. Don't accidentally go to that layer. Go to that layer there. You can see I've got the base background layer turned off. Let's go to brush. Painting? No, I don't want painting. What I want is pens, perhaps. Now, these pen brushes can be a little ragged down the side, but that's all right. We've got a brush over here, paintbrush, and it's there. It's the simple pen. You can probably use any of the others that you like, but the simple pen right at the top will do. However, it's 12 pixels in size. You can see that there. Let's tap on that. I would suggest making it 6 pixels. You don't want a very big line at all. Okay, see now that's the width of the line you're going to draw is 6 pixels. Now that's still a very small picture. Let's get that out of the way and use 2 fingers, or a finger and a thumb in this case, to enlarge that image. We've got a 6 pixel image. We've got the brush. Let's see if we can draw a line. Is it going down there? It's difficult to see. And there's the line you've just drawn. You see, I've gone to the layer below and turned it off. Turn it on, turn it off. It's about the same width as the line that's already there, 6 pixels. And because it's enlarged, you can easily see it. Off, that's what I just drew. And don't worry about it being a little wiggly line, that's just my unsteady hand, because you can straighten that up later. As you become familiar with this, you'll see where it starts and ends, and it starts and ends about there. And you'll begin to be able to see quite easily where you've drawn. Oops, and that's very wriggly. But it's a pencil line. There you go, straighten it up a little bit. Now something as rough as this, very slowly go around there, down there, down there. I believe you can get a covering to put on iPad screens that make the screen feel like paper. Now I think that might be a very nice thing, and I might invest in that. I think they're about 20 bucks. Not too sure. I have seen them advertised, but I've never bothered to buy one. But if one does a lot of this work, it's probably a good idea. Now, what have we got there? Let's turn that off, and you can see already it's taking shape underneath. And of course you can use different brushes, you can use different textures. See, that's quite textured in there, whereas I'm just using the thick brush with 100% opacity, 100% flow, 100% hardness, blah blah blah, and the colour over there. You can even do this in colour, but then you can come back and do the colour a bit later. There we go, just turn that layer off and you can see that wing taking shape. Just like in the drawing. Now the hardest part of this is maintaining a steady hand. But don't forget, it is a sketch. And what you've got to do is, you don't want an exact copy, and you don't want to use somebody else's work anyway. What you're doing is coming up with your own work. Just follow that down there. Already we've got the makings of a decent dragon wing appearing in there. Now the advantage of doing this, of course, is that you can add material in or you can leave material out that the original artist hasn't done or has done. It's entirely up to you. Now, let's hold that there and, oops, don't forget if you make a mistake, go back to the Move tool. Now there's the full dragon, and you can see it's a painstaking process, but already we've got part of the dragon wing done. So it doesn't really matter if you can't do drawing, because you can start with a drawing, and if you do 1,000 of these, in the end you won't need one because your hand will be in. You'll be able to do it without having to resort to tracing. You'll just be able to sit down and sketch. Now I think that's pretty cool. If you take that out, you can see the lines appearing and disappearing. You can see the entire dragon disappearing, and you can see how it's done. So let me show you one that I've done previously, as they say. There's that one there. What I'll do is rename that from Untitled to Dragon and Rider. Now that sounds okay. Just tap on that. Just to make sure it's there, I'll save it. I'll open it up again and save. But I want to save a copy, just in case. Dragon and Rider photo, save. Because if I want to come back to this, I'll come back to Affinity Photo and just save it there. Dragon and Rider is already there because I'm saving it from the menu. Well, that's okay. Just replace it, or you can change it. Now let's go back and I'll show you one I've done previously. Where am I up to? I'm up to there, the Dragons of Sarasara. Now let's reduce this in size, and you can see what I'm doing there. See that building in the left hand side? That's another layer that I've got there, and I'm tracing over that to add the building in there. There's the dragon, there's my dragon, you can see just over here on the right hand side. Now the scenery, the mountains in the background, that is in fact, oops, there, it's a lot clearer now because I've got that shaded spot on it. There's that thing there. There's the mountain range there, and I've traced over the peaks of the mountains. You can see how you can build up a nice little image, and you can see how the image on the right hand side feeds out into the existing image. And you're left with the outline, and you're left with the outline. And that's how you do it. Very nice. Just leave that. That's quite a big image, that one, so that's saved. And that's very much how you can create your own art without a lot of heartache and 10 years of your life trying to learn to be an artist.